Hello, friend. Paul here. Um, this is just a message to those who actually have gone through a lot, have been constantly going through spiritual attacks from the moment they were born. You're what they call a generational curse breaker. You were brought into this world like before you even came here. You made a decision that you were going to take on very, very heavy energies because you've been through so many like more comfortable, I guess is the best way to put it, lifetimes. But in those comfortable lifetimes, you were able to get the lay of the land. You're able to understand how people work, how society works, how energy dynamics work, without going through uh, extreme dysfunction. And I guess what I'm trying to say is your soul incarnated here into the exact timeline that you incarnated into. This is the one that you incarnated into this time. All your timelines happen at the same time. You're a multidimensional creature. Time exists in the third dimension. So you watching me, you're perceiving light coming out of the screen, which means it's taking time for you to see or hear the messages that I'm saying. If you were blind, and you only heard the words that were coming out of my mouth, your perception of time would be about 785,000 times different than someone who is not blind. Think about that. You ever wonder why Stevie Wonder's so good at playing piano? Think about it. So time is all relative. All your timelines happen concurrently, but we're currently in a low vibrational society. We exist to bring up the vibration of this society to where previous societies have been brought up to. You incarnated into those societies that were at a higher vibration. Henceforth, you do not fit in this society. You feel the need to lower your vibration to not express yourself authentically so that you can fit in, so that you can have connection. Because we are humans. We need connection. We need tribe. We need other people. That being the case, um, you also are in Earth School right now. Do you know why you would ever even exist in the third dimension? It's so that you can grow spiritually, to give experience to your soul and your spirit. You exist in all timelines at the same time, and every single one of those timelines, you are learning something else, something new that's contributing to your oversoul, the oversoul that is shared by many, the soul of humanity. We are a collective consciousness. What that means is we are all together experiencing time and manifesting the physical reality that is around us. We created time. So you're taking time to watch this video and you've probably been through some shit. I really, really hope you're at a point where you're seeing this and that you're on the side of time where you have shifted. You've learned what you need to learn from the karmic cycles and you have shifted into a place of unconditional love for yourself and other people. What that means is the dysfunctional patterns of an egotistical or binary system that has been programmed by the society we live in no longer seems appealing to you. Congratulations, you graduated. That's the point of Earth School. But now that you've graduated, you need to do something. You go to school to learn something. You go to college, you get a degree, I don't know, you're like, I want to do this. I want to be an architect. I want to be a sound engineer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. All these things are egoic constructs in the third dimension that were ultimately inspired by your experience and your desire to contribute to humanity. It's pretty hard to contribute to humanity when you've been suffering, but your suffering is what is allowing you to become self actualized and play the part that you need to play as an individual human in the collective to basically help us ascend into a higher dimensional state of being. By becoming self realized, by shifting from the victim mindset of all the things that you've been through and that you've taken on as a generational curse breaker, which you agreed to do before you even got here. Because, Light warriors, like we came here to break generational karmic cycles, generational trauma. There's a lot of young souls. Hurt people hurt people. You didn't hurt people. You hurt yourself. You turned it inward. You got depressed. You suppressed who you actually are. You were never allowed to live. You weren't allowed to be a kid. You weren't allowed to have the human experience because you chose to incarnate into a dysfunctional generational timeline that would be providing the suffering necessary for you to grow in this life spiritually as far as you needed to in order to ensure that the collective continues ascending to your next incarnation in which the vibration is higher. This is how we create heaven on earth. We don't have it yet. No. We actually have hell on earth as well right now. Like from a DBT standpoint, two things can be true. There is heaven on earth and there is hell on earth. Certain people who have no comprehension or capacity to understand even agnosticism, like no capacity to understand that there's a God that created consciousness, that created our capacity to self-reflect and to augment our egos through perceiving time and not the present moment. I've never seen a dog who's like self-conscious. Like, oh my gosh, my tail. Oh gosh, my tail don't look that good. They'll chase their tail because they don't even think it's part of them. They're not self-aware. We learn self-awareness through looking in water and realizing we are of this earth, but we are also capable of perceiving ourselves and how our actions affect the future. We have free will. Long story short, I am sorry that you had to go through what you went through. It's a lot. But now it's time to wake up. You didn't do anything wrong your whole life. You acted like a human. You acted like how you were supposed to. You survived. You did what you had to do to survive. But the time is not for survival anymore. It's for thrival. God, I hate that word already. But seriously, let's stop living life as a reflection of the past. Embrace who we are in the present now, today. What we know, what we don't know. And embrace the truth of reality, which is none of this would exist if we weren't all here. The butterfly effect. Every action that every person takes is affecting other people on this earth. One person goes to the gas station and buys Kratom. P.S. If you don't know what Kratom is, look it up. It's really bad. If you think it's not a big deal, look into it. Seriously, that's like one of the most dysfunctional drugs that's going to become a serious problem in the future moving forward. It's just starting to be understood now, but there are children who are taking this substance. It's unregulated. People are literally making a profit on children dying in our country. The United States is where I live. The same way that I found out that it takes 40 slaves to mine the materials to make the cell phone in your pocket. How is it that I deserve more than another human? Why am I more important than another person? There's no person who's more or less important than me. Everyone is very important to us becoming where we are. That being the case, we're experiencing a timeline split. So I ask you, which side of the split do you want to be on? The world's not getting any cooler. Jesus talked about this. I mean, it's pretty hard for people to actually comprehend it, but like the words that I say are truth. We're going through a split right now. This current generation, it's a split. Why do you think there's so much chaos? If you look at any sort of situation, things get very volatile before they become consistent. We're getting volatile because we've consistently uptrended for like 2,000 years from a place of faith and a place of like growing in God consciousness and goodness and recognizing humility is extremely important and empathy is very important, to a place of science and understanding how humans can be God is very important, which is a completely egoic perception. P.S. Like, do you really want to control all the random interactions of every single person constantly all the time? Throughout time? Because you don't exist in the third dimension. God is fifth dimensional. And if you like do the Sorry, my screen dimmed. So like I have an engineering background, so it's like if you look at time as being linear in the third dimension, when you take the derivative of that in the fourth dimension, or you integrate it, it's going to be like velocity. I'm not sure which right now. I'm just going to go off of what I'm thinking. And then eventually it goes to acceleration. God wants what's best for humans because we are God's children. God created us, God gave us consciousness. So he's going to, if you tend towards God, he will accelerate you in the direction towards heaven on earth. Likewise, if you are atheistic and just literally think that like humans will solve global warming and that like you have the capacity to influence mankind in a way that is like going to not for the betterment of mankind, but to prove that you're fucking better than other men or that like there's an outcome, a projected outcome. I'm going to help the world so that people recognize me as a good person. You've already lost. You're trying to become a false idol. So go fuck yourself. It's like personally, I want to like be reincarnated as a Galapagos tortoise. I would love to just exist in the present constantly. As in like maybe I'm sure tortoises have trauma. They probably have emotional reactions to things and stuff like that. But when they're not triggered, they return to the present state of mind and they experience time in their life as from a place of gratitude. I've never seen a depressed turtle. Have you? They move slow, not because they're depressed. They move slow because they're like, what's the rush? I love rabbits too. They move fast because they're like, I'm quick and it's fun. But they're also like, pew, 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 pew. You gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do that. It's like anxiety. Turtles aren't depressed. They're not like Eeyore energy. But turtles are like, slow and steady wins the race. I'm gonna go get my worm or leaf. Or I love carrots. Like feeding a turtle a carrot is really satisfying. Or if you're a sea turtle, I'm just gonna ride the currents, bro. I'm gonna ride the currents and get my kelp. Um, Long story short, as a generational curse breaker, you took on a lot of trauma and a lot of suffering in this lifetime because that allows you to ascend to the level of consciousness that's necessary to create the society that you'll be incarnating into next. Does that make sense? If you're of good soul and good spirit, if you're God loving and God fearing, both are true at the same time, you are like in a great position to start to get blessed so that God can chaperone you into the new earth, to heaven on earth. And if you're not, that's fine. But to descend into hell on earth, it's not going to get more comfortable. And at some point, Mother Gaia, the unconditionally loving parent of mankind, will say, screw this kid, and cut him off. You know what that looks like? It looks like a super volcano. Another ice age. Mankind dies. And this whole experiment of humanity gets repeated once again. The Egyptians aren't gone. They've transcended. The Atlanteans aren't gone. They've transcended. But our society, our culture, mankind as it is today, we will transcend too. But not all of us. So think about that. How can you grow in humility? And how can you love yourself the way that you love other people? And how can you love other people in the way that you love yourself? Are you empathetic? Are you narcissistic? You gotta find balance. It doesn't matter. Whatever it looks like. If you're narcissistic, go help people with no expectation of return. If you're empathetic, go help yourself with no guilt or shame of what people think of you or that like your values are wrong. We're all in imbalance right now. We're living in a binary society despite the fact that we're infinite creatures. And like technology is not helping that. It's programming us in the wrong way. I can't say much more than that right now. If you can follow what I'm saying and you understand this message, I just want you to know you are a very special person There's 7 billion plus people on this planet right now, and there's a lot of souls who are here for the first time. You are not. You've already done you've already laid down the groundwork. You've suffered in past timelines. You've thrived in past timelines. You've gotten the capacity to understand that money and material things are less important than spiritual awareness and love for yourself and another. Because love is the strongest thing in the universe and it transcends time. Money is the lowest vibration. Then you go to time, which then disappears in the fourth dimension. When you go to love, man, it transcends every dimension. Because God's love for you and his desire for you to become, or her desire for you to become, both mother and father. I mean, God is not male or female. God is the Alpha and the Omega. All things existing in balance and harmony. Otherwise, we'd all be dead. So, I don't know. Food for thought. Maybe this goes somewhere, maybe not. But I just want you to know I love you. I'm going to do my best, whatever that looks like. And I want you to know that I see you. I appreciate you and I love you. Have a great day. Namaste.